my name is Claire, welcome to my masterclass. I'm the owner of Royal Brows and Beauty and I'm an advanced microblading artist from Glasgow. If you would like to see the step-by-step process on how to achieve a fluffy, realistic brow, then please stay tuned. Okay, so we're just going to remove Gabby's numbing cream, which has been on for 30 minutes, which is going to help with the comfort of the treatment and she shouldn't feel too much. Okay Gabby, don't need to worry.
Thank you.
So we're going to start by measuring Gabby's brows. So what we do is we determine the centre of the eyebrows, which is where we get our string, and we go from the chin. Not a lot of people go through the nose, but the reason we go through the chin is because noses are often off centre. They're not completely centre, so we go from the centre of the chin, which is going to give us our middle point of the brows. And don't worry Gabby, any pen we will remove. Great, so now we have the centre of the brows and we're just going to line that up with the centre of our ruler. Are you excited? So we use a sticky ruler and this is just going to give us our points, and make sure our points are sitting the same on each side just to ensure that the brows are even and symmetrical. So what we need to do is determine the start of our brow now, and the start of your brow should often come from the corner of your eye. So I'm just going to press in the corner of your eye. And the same again, you just replicate everything. Okay, and now we need to determine the outer part of the brow, which is where we go from the corner of the eye. And mark that on. Just to ensure that they're going to be sitting again at the same points. And for the last point, what we have to determine is the arch of the brow. So I'm just going to get Gabby to open her eyes and just look straight for me. I'm going to go from the corner of the nose straight through the pupil, and that will give us the arch of the brow. And the same again. Now what we have is our start, our arch and the end of the brow, and what we need to do now is map out the shape of the brow. And at this point I'm just going to take off our sticky ruler, the reason being it's quite slidey, so when you need to stretch the brow your hands move around. So now that we've got our 3 points, we don't need this, so we can remove that. So in our consultation we'll obviously discuss shape and colour, so you're on the same page with your client before you even begin. So I've obviously spoken to Gabby and I know what style and shape that we're going for. So what we're going to do is determine the thickness of the brow. Gabby's thickness is already perfect. We don't need to alter it too much. So what we're doing here is you can feel the eyebrow bone, and that gives you the thickness of the brow, and Gabby's is perfect. So we're just going to mark the bottom and the top, and then what we have to do just to ensure that the thickness is the same is get your string and mark across the top of the brow and mark the underneath of the brow. And then for the arch, we're just going to go from the top of that arch over, and this will make sure that there's no brow going to be higher than the other. And then we just have 3 hands around the shape. So we're just going to stretch the brow. And that's how we draw the shape of the brow, and then what we need to do is just replicate that over, sorry, poked you in the nose there, onto the next side. This is your brow where you can see, Gabby, there's not as much hair. Okay, so So now that you have your shape, you're just going to go ahead and take away any stray hairs that we don't need, and that's the hairs that are sitting outside of the stencil. Just take away any like peach fuzz that we don't need. And we're just going to trim any brow hairs. Now that we have our shape, we're ready to get started. So we've mixed 2 colours for Gabby's treatment today, and it's just going to give her the perfect colour to blend in with her brows that are already there. So Gabby, I'm using just a bit of a dark brown and a sort of lighter brown and mixing them for you. So although you've got dark brows, I never use the colour black, even though you have really dark hair and dark brows. Sometimes black's too harsh. So I always put a pot of it here just to make sure that it's perfect. And then we can go ahead and get started and open up the microblade, which is made up of tiny needles that are very flexible, and you just pop it in your disposable pen. So at the end, these can just get put in a sharp string. You do your first set of strokes, which is called your skeleton. Pop more numbing cream on, go over to the brow on this side and do the same thing. Pop your numbing gel on, finish off the right and then finish off the left. Okay Gabby, I'll do one stroke for you and you can let me know how it is, okay?
Okay.
So stretch the skin nice and tight. How's that?
It's fine.
Yeah. And you just stretch the skin, make sure all the blades are sitting 90 degrees on the skin, and do your hair stroke. These are the longest strokes of the brow because they are the skeleton, so it's made up of longer, and then we'll go in between and fill in our little shorter ones. Okay, so you just rub that ink in there. Give it a wipe and then we're going to pop on the numbing gel. How are you feeling, Gabs?
Fine.
Fine? Good. We'll just let this numbing gel sit in there until we do the skeleton strokes over on this side. Gentle pressure, you don't need to go too deep because the needles are so sharp anyway that they'll go through the skin no bother, so you don't need to, because then that's what causes strokes to expand and then over time they'll merge into one big brow, which we don't want.
Yeah, I noticed that is a bit different.
Yeah. I'm just going to pop on some more numbing gel and leave that to numb for her. And you'll feel how good this is now you're in it. And I'll go back to that next brow.
Oh yeah.
Okay, and back to this brow. So where we've did the skeleton strokes, we're just going to darken them up ever so slightly. We've did a good pressure, so all you want to do is tap the ink in. So open up the skin, tap in ever so slightly. This will give you the right pressure so that you want your brows to look good when they're just done, but you also want your brows to look good in 2 years' time. So you need to think about your pressure. And now you just want to start building up the brow with some in-between strokes, and these are going to be smaller strokes. that help to create the kind of realistic 3D look of the brow. We're just going to add more pigment in. We keep doing this throughout the process, and this is just going to help the ink settle into the wee hair strokes that we've made. And it helps to start defining your brow, makes it easier to see where you're going. Just elongating these strokes. You can see the strokes at the top give it a more 3D effect, because in a real eyebrow that's the way that your hair would grow, and when it's all done it just makes it look like one real eyebrow with lots and lots of hair strokes.
Oh, I love it.
You can see all your wee hair.
Yes! Oh my god, it's so natural. Ah! It's amazing. I love it.
Good job.
Okay, so the other one now.
Closer. Now you're like, no. Okay, so what we're going to do now is we'll finish this brow, so we're going to go over this side and start to go through our skeleton strokes by tapping the ink in again, and then we'll start building it up with our smaller strokes to make it look 3D and come to life. We're just continuing to build up the brow with tiny hair strokes to mimic what's going over on this side here. Stretch the skin, pull the skin nice and taut, and draw our little hair strokes. And again we're just going to add some pigment in. Doing this throughout, and it's going to help the pigment stick into the skin really well. When you come back in 4 weeks there'll be barely anything to top up. Okay, so we're just adding more pigment in to the strokes that's already there, and we're not too much further from finishing. We just need to add some more on this side and then we'll finish. You just build the brow up in layers. You go in, your first layer is your skeleton, then you go in a second layer and a third layer and sometimes a fourth layer, just to build up gradually at one time. For a second. Fine, you can lie back down. A couple of bits and we're done. Promise. Okay, so now we've finished the brows, we're just going to pop on a nice cooling gel which is going to help lock the pigment in. And you can also use it to help manoeuvre the hair. Set it. And just get your spoolie and help style the brow. So the treatment and hold took us 1 hour and 10 minutes. It can often vary depending on the style of brow, how much hair the client already has. So anywhere from 40 minutes to 2 hours it can take. Camera, you can go and have a look at them.
Yes.
You have brows.
I have brows.
You can have a look at them if you want with that off because.
Oh yes,
So
look
good,
at that.
Gabs.
Oh, absolutely amazing. No, honestly,
So pretty.
they're beautiful. Oh, Claire, come
You like
here.
them?
I love them.
You're
Thank
very welcome.
you. Yeah. Can't wait for them to fade a little
I
bit.
know.
Though, not gonna lie, to
You know what
black.
they're like when they're first done?
Yeah,
They're
I know.
always crazy dark.
Yeah, it's always a little bit scary.
You'll probably need nothing, hardly anything done at the top up, Gabby. Not much at all.
And just like magic, here I am with my new brows. Ta-da! So this is, it's not super fluffy.
No, it's more feather brows. Different than the way we did them last time when they were really kind of sharp and traditional. When you look closely you can see all your tiny wee hair strokes. Just to make it look realistic as possible and even out this one brow over here, if it was more curved, we've made them more.
I had one that was higher than the other.
Yeah.
And now they look amazing. It's going to fade a little bit, so now it's still very dark. But once it's held, it's going to look very, very natural. It's going to fade a little bit, it's going to look a little bit lighter.
Yeah.
So it's not going to be as like shocking.
Yes.
And
especially because when they're first done, they're a lot bolder than what they're going to be. In 4 weeks' time, they'll be 40% lighter than they are just now, and they'll be 15% thinner than they are just now. That's why we do a wee 4-week top up. Anything lost we can put back in, but if you do your aftercare, you'd be really need to touch them with your 4-week top up.
what is my aftercare?
And we've got your aftercare here. So you keep the brows dry for 7 days. For the first day, you use baby shampoo every few hours with a wee bit of warm water and just turn it into a foam. Soft circles through the brows, pat the soap off, followed by your Bepanthen, which is just nappy cream.
Right, so here the aftercare comes the baby shampoo.
And then your Bepanthen, your nappy cream. So baby shampoo is just for today, and then for the next 7 days, whilst you're keeping them dry out of water, just apply your Bepanthen cream 4 times a day. And I'll email that over for you as well so that you've got your aftercare.
Amazing. And if you're not just happy just taking it as magic, if you want to actually see the whole process and watch Claire's masterclass, just watch the next video.
Yeah, see you there.
Yeah, so then you'll be able to see all the step by step and how she does everything and all the explanation about all these steps. So if you're curious to see how it's done and if you want to learn more, just watch the next video. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you, Claire.
You're very welcome.
Aww.